Governor Rod Blagojevich, and Barbara was with you earlier, and so we're now joining you. We heard that you had first considered Oprah for the Senate seat. Is that true?
All you get out of that is a car, by the way.
No, it is true that among the many potential candidates for the Senate seat, we discussed Oprah. And my thought, it was an idea that a friend brought to me. My thought was an African-American woman who probably by herself has more influence than 100 senators. She was instrumental in electing Barack Obama president. She clearly could use her bully pulpit to do good things for people. The question was whether or not there was any chance at all she'd be willing to do it. And then, if so, how do you reach out to her? Would she take the call of the governor of Illinois, for example, because Oprah's Oprah and I'm just the governor of Illinois? And then if you did it...
I don't think you'd have a problem getting on the phone with Oprah.
I don't know. And then the question is, how do you suggest something like that so it doesn't look like it's just a gimmick to get cheap publicity at her expense? So we discussed some of that, and then we discussed a whole bunch of other candidates as well, and never quite were able to execute that, partly because I was interrupted on December the 9th.
You know, we've heard some of the tapes, which Whoopi keeps saying to the two of us, where are the rest of the tapes? But that's another question. But on some of the tapes, you and your wife are potty mouths. I mean, not that I have anything against that.
Because you're potty mouth. You can be a potty mouth.
I mean, what's up with that? Do you talk like that all the time?
Let me explain something.
Yeah.
Look, had I known...
Watch the expletives, because, you know, this is live.
Yeah, but I heard you say something, and I said you almost sounded like me on those tapes just a little while ago.
Oh, several times in my career, yeah. I could give you lessons.
Well, look, had I known somebody was listening, I wouldn't have used language like that. And I will say that it's not something that, you know, I'm proud of. However, in fairness to my wife, they picked up a word or two that she may have said. I take responsibility for that. I think she's been around me so long that maybe she's picked up some of that. I was raised in a big city in a tough neighborhood. And when you're a kid growing up in a neighborhood like that, you would never say words like that in front of your mother. But when you're out there at the schoolyard, you're playing basketball, or you're out with the other guys, it's just sort of the thing you do. And unfortunately, you try to get rid of some of those habits. You may have left the neighborhood, but part of that neighborhood never left you. And again, I don't generally say those things publicly. Those are private conversations, and I can tell you, I've been with senators and governors and presidents of the United States.
Cheney told somebody to go F.
And say those words as well. So
let me ask you, because you know this is one of the things. You know, we've heard all these tapes. We don't know what the full context was, which is what you've been saying. We know that neither side during this impeachment trial can bring people physically. So my question is this: why not get their affidavits, and why not let this run its course? Because this is turning into a bit of a media circus, and I wonder if you're not hurting yourself more than helping yourself by doing all this, because, you know, it feels a little bit like people aren't taking you seriously, and I wonder why you took this chance.
Well, let me explain that. And I hope your audience can listen, and whoever's listening in America can hear this. I haven't been given the right by the Senate to bring witnesses in or bring those tapes in.
Right, but you could have done an affidavit. I mean, because, you know, Rahm Emanuel's not going to fly to Chicago, but you could get a piece of paper from him with a stamp from the people they don't question that says, listen, this is what went down, and here's my name, and I'm swearing that this is what it was. Why not do that?
Because there's a rule called Rule 8B under those rules, which say that the allegations in the criminal charge have to be accepted as fact, and you cannot object to them. So you can bring in Rahm Emanuel and Jesse Jackson Jr. and Valerie Jarrett and senators and congressmen. You can bring in 10 angels and 15 saints led by Mother Teresa, and they can say none of those things happened, but you can't contest the actual charge that they're bringing, which they cannot prove up because the prosecutor won't let them bring evidence in. So my feeling is, if that's the case, let us have the court case at the appropriate time, which is where it ought to be, and they shouldn't bring up charges they can't prove or let me disprove. And because they won't change those rules.
I just lost you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Governor Blagojevich, Clinton, but President Clinton, when he was impeached, he wasn't able to bring up witnesses, and he came through and relied on the justice system. And so why are you any different from
Well, I'll tell you why. Well, first of all, I was there in 1998-99. I was a congressman who voted against impeaching President Clinton. He was able to have Vernon Jordan testify in the Senate.
Oh, he was.
And he was able to have, actually, Monica Lewinsky had videotape testimony. I'm not given that same right. Think about this in America. Someone can accuse you of doing something wrong. They won't let me say it ain't true I didn't do it. They won't let me bring witnesses to say it ain't true, I didn't do it. They're simply running this impeachment to get me out of town. And I will point out, they were threatening an impeachment long before this came down, because I went around the legislature to give every senior citizen free public transportation, because I went around the legislature, because they wouldn't pass it, to give every uninsured woman breast and
some kind of conspiracy against you?
I'm saying that the impeachment stuff was talked by the legislature long before this came down. When this happened, they gave me the justification to do it. But it's because I did things for people. Health care for kids.
Oh, you're not running now. So.
Well, but I just want to point out.
But so all of this that is on the tapes. Now, okay, I've cursed people out on the phone talking about stuff that I thought somebody did. So you're saying that no one can prove or disprove whether this is true or not.
That's what Senate proceeding
in the state of Illinois. So no one can say, and here's the proof, here's all the tapes. That's why we haven't heard them all.
Correct.
Because they can't. I'm lost, because I thought in the United States, and maybe Chicago's different, you know, it is a different kind of town, that you had to present evidence which you could refute. I thought that was the law. You have to be able to refute the evidence or not refute it, and that's how people made their decisions. You're saying that's not the case here?
Thank you, and I want to say this again. That's exactly not the case. There's a Sixth Amendment constitutional right for anybody in America. If you're accused of something, you have a right to be able to defend yourself in a process.
Right.
They're denying that fundamental right in this, what I call, unconstitutional impeachment process. The prosecutor in this case has the court case, which is going to happen in a year. Okay, it's too much?
It's too much.
I understand.
It's
the bottom line is,
we have another minute left.
I'm not allowed to bring witnesses in to prove my innocence. And and they're going to remove a governor elected by the people twice without the right to bring in witnesses to show he didn't do anything wrong.
Where the hell is the Supreme Court? That's what I want to know.
Right.
The Supremes are here, but where's the court? Go ahead, Shane.
The Supremes.
You're Diana Ross.
Ain't no mountain high enough.
Blagojevich, we just hope that justice prevails.
We're leaving.
We have
Wait a minute. He does a fabulous Nixon impression. Do it for us.
Who said that?
Somebody told me. Come on.
Well,
just say I am not a crook. Do it.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
Come on. You got the hand. Come on.
No. I'm not going to do that, but let me make this perfectly clear. Let me make this perfectly clear. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not guilty of any criminal wrongdoing. All I asked for is a chance to be able to prove my innocence. And in the state Senate, if they let me bring a case and bring witnesses, I can prove my innocence.
We're Governor Blagojevich. You said it on The View. Our thanks to Governor Rod Blagojevich. We're going to be right back with Nancy Grace.